still volunteering today, which is wonderful. And they realized that there were so many people who were willing to help. And Barb and Ira became open 7 days a week, 365 days a year. They would talk about people coming in on Thanksgiving, on Christmas. They'd sit with his mother. But one thing that stayed true is that they believe that everybody deserves dignity and respect. Sorry, my dog came in. Maya. And as the number of people seeking help grew and the number of people willing to donate grew, their record boxes were overflowing, their carport was full, their volleyball court was full, their driveway was full, their basement was full. So they really needed to look for multiple locations. And so back in 1999, they moved into their first location and moved into the basement at St. Matthew's. And then people would go from location to location to location to get a mattress at St. Elizabeth, the small items at St. Matthew's, the barn at the wooden furniture. They would just keep going. So a little bit, this was their paper records overflowing and a little bit of what it looked like inside. Barbara, one of the clients. In 2002, the Action Unlimited published an article about how the household goods ministry was modernizing. They were establishing a web page and an email address. They also, in the same article, talked about wishing that they could find 3,000 square feet to consolidate their operations. To give you some sort of scale, if you've been into household goods building, 3,000 square feet is about a third of where the clients shop today. But that's all they were looking for. But then one 8-degree January morning in 2004, Barbara sat there freezing and she said that this is ridiculous. We have 3 locations to give out furniture and not one of them has heat, not one of them has a toilet. They said, if we're going to continue, we need a facility with facilities. And so they started looking. And later that year, they moved to our home at 530 Main Street. They didn't know how they would ever fill 10,000 square feet. And they also never knew how they would raise the $15,000 to pay the rent. But it was empty and they filled it. And then we filled it over and over again. And throughout this time, agencies were continuing to refer people. Volunteers were continuing to help. And the idea that every person is treated with dignity and respect, and that the person right in front of us is going to be helped, continue. And so in 2008, Household Goods decided to hire the first employee, which was a part-time volunteer coordinator, to manage the over 200 volunteers that have joined Barbara, Ira, and Household Goods at that time. And just to give you some idea, 2008 was also the year that the first iPhone came out. Trivia across the decades. And Household Goods continue to attract volunteers, donors, and more referring agencies. They started broadening who they were helping: veterans, single parents, people who've been homeless, kids, adults, seniors, all ages. Oops. And in 2011, Household Goods purchased the building that we're currently in, and we were able to expand into 2/3 of it. Then in 2013, Household Goods rebranded. We realized that we were one of the best kept secrets in Acton, and we really wanted to try to get more visibility. So we were really lucky that Charlie Kahn and Priscilla White Sturgis professionally rebranded our look to better reflect our mission, our warmth, and our welcoming environment. And this is John Fallon showing off our brand new look to the volunteers back in 2013. In the next couple of years, we had a number of events, and throughout Household Goods beginnings, there were always events, really fun ones too, the chair auction, the yard sales, all different types of events. And in 2015, we held our first gala that really changed Household Goods for the long term. That gala had raised over $200,000 and made it possible for us to move into the complete 20,000 square foot building that we had owned. And we dedicated that building to Barbara and Ira Smith. So as long as we're there, everybody will know it is the Barbara and Ira Smith Center in honor of them. Over the past 30 years, the one thing that's remained the same is that the core of our mission and volunteerism. And in a typical year, we have 1,000 volunteers work 45,000 hours. And they are supported by a relatively small staff of 5. So that's about a 250 to 1 volunteer to staff ratio. But it really holds true to what Barb and Iris started, that it takes the community to make Household Goods happen. So over 30 years, in our numbers, we furnished 47,000 homes. To put that in context, that's furnishing every house in Acton twice. It's providing 729,000 household items, big and small. And we've had over 500,000 volunteer hours worked, and probably a lot more than that, because we know that not all of our volunteers tell us every hour they work. But those are incredible numbers. And behind these numbers are people, and not just the volunteers, but also the people we furnish. They're single moms and dads who now have beds to tuck their kids in at night. It's people who've been homeless who now have a bed to sleep on and dishes to cook with. You know, it's people that really just needed a little bit of a hand up just to get through whatever rough patch they're going through. And that's what's behind these numbers. We asked Barb and Ira to reflect upon their 30 years.
Here.
Oh, hey, Ira.
Oh, Ira.
Hey, Ira, do you want to read this?
Oh. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I've had a hell of a time getting on. Oh,
Can you turn your video on?
the video's on, yes. And
Your video's not on. At the bottom of your screen, you have a video camera with a red line through it. Can you push it?
camera with a red line,
Yeah, it says start video.
huh? Okay, here.
Oh, there you
That
go.
There you are.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah.
Great.
Thanks
Oh.
for joining us.
You wanted me to say something?
Well, I was going to read. You can read. Can you see the screen?
No, yeah, not very well. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll read what you guys wrote.
You read it, because I'm not like Barbara with a gifted tongue.
So we asked Barb and Ira what they thought of 30 years, and this is what they said. Household Goods has evolved into an outstanding, mature, not-for-profit enterprise. At the heart of Household Goods, we always find people who give household goods and money, dedicated volunteers who give time, talent, and energy, especially in these COVID-19 days, our remarkable staff who are gifted and superb by any measure, thank you, and grateful clients and their advocates. Together, people make Household Goods a living, breathing, exciting organization.
Barbara wrote most of that.
So now we're looking ahead to the next 30 years. And one of the challenges that household goods has always had, because if we think of what we were just talking about, we were talking about the people, the volunteers, and the clients and the goods. But one thing that also keeps growing is the need for space. And part of that is because of the challenge we have in matching the donations that come in with the need for our clients. So for us, we might need dressers, but when we need dressers, we might end up getting 100 couches. And so we want to make sure that we have room to take those 100 couches when they come in, because we will need them when at another time. And so we've utilized over the years rental of tractor trailers and rental of storage containers. So we can take loads from a hotel renovation or a dorm renovation, or if a company is offering up, hundreds of tables at a time. And the problem with those containers is that you can only get what's in the front. And so it makes it really hard to access. And so with our capital expansion project called Build the Way Home, we are hoping to do a number of things. So right now, down here is where we come in. And what we'll be able to do is that donations come in the same way they're doing it now during COVID, and they'll be able to drop off, but the donations will be able to come right into the building instead of being quarantined. And then they'll be looping right around. And at the same time, we have donors. We'll be able to have our clients come in and shop and then leave at the same time. So that will really expand our capacity to have donors and clients at the same time. And it will also, the extra building space that we're building in the addition, which is starting this month, and then replacing the storage containers with the building, it'll give us better access to the inventory so we can make sure that our clients have what they need on the date of their appointment. And so far, our capital project has a $2 million fundraising goal, and we've raised over $1,700,000 so far. And we have a generous local family that launched a $100,000 matching gift challenge to help bring the campaign to a close. And we're really excited because we're hoping to get the bulk of the construction done before the end of the summer. So we're just going to put out, one of the things that we have on site is a number of tractor trailers that has furniture from a dorm renovation this past year. And we need to move the trailers off site to accommodate the construction. So if anybody knows of any space that might be available to park 3 or 4 trailers for 3 or 4 months, preferably in Acton or close by, please let me know. You can put it in the chat or send an email later. So I'm just going to throw that out there. Our 30th year was nothing like what we had planned. 2020 was nothing like anybody had planned. But I think that, seeing how our staff and our volunteers all work together remotely to really develop innovative systems that allow us to continue serving people in need almost without uninterruption. We reworked every process that we had from top to bottom so we could operate safely during the pandemic. And because of their hard work, we were able to furnish almost 1,500 homes last year. Given everything that we were up against, it's pretty incredible, I think. And this past year has really shown the resiliency and the adaptability of the community that supports household goods. The volunteers that stuck with us through multiple iterations of the way we were working, to donors who understood our need to change the way we accept donations, our clients and agencies who were flexible with the changes that we made. And we saw clearly that a dedicated volunteer corps committed to helping people make a home is a force stronger than any pandemic could be. So we're really looking forward, to getting our capital campaign completed this year. And we know that people always are looking, what can I do? So everybody can, volunteer, donate, donate to the matching challenge. And so right now we will move it to taking any questions people might have, if there are any. Okay, let's see. Hang on, Nancy. Okay, Nancy, go right ahead. Are you muted, Nancy?
This is Ken watching with Nancy.
Mhm.
You can.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Great. Well, a lot of us volunteers, specifically who are senior citizens, have, because of the problem of COVID, have had to stay away as volunteers. We will be finishing our shots coming up in the next couple of weeks. When can we start to come by on a more regular basis?
Well, that's great. If you want to email Laura, we can start getting you back on the schedule whenever you're ready. There's plenty to do. So
Great.
right now, when we're scheduling volunteers, we're not having anybody drop in because we have to still be very careful about how many volunteers we have in a given area or volunteers at a time. But if you email Laura, she'll be able to schedule you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. We look forward to seeing you.
Well, I have a second question. In terms of donating to the capital program,
Yeah.
do we have to make out the check specifically for you or just make a note on the memo line?
A note on the memo line is just fine.
Thank you.
And make it out to Household Goods. Thank you.
Yep.
So Sharon, it looks like people can also then raise their hands and be unmuted if they have a question. Is that right?
Yes.
Great. Anybody else? Anything to ask, to comment? We're well within our 30-minute limit.
Is there a hand up? Okay. All right. So I guess Barbara, back to you for some.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Honor McClellan has her hand up, I believe. Is that right, Sharon?
I don't see.
I don't
Oh,
know
there's two hands
how we can unmute her.
Okay.
Great. Go ahead.
Hi, I used to live in Acton. Unfortunately, I moved just before you guys started. And I come as often as I can with as many things as I can. I just wish that there was a truck that could come a little bit further out than you can do, because I'm getting kind of old to be driving a big truck myself. And I just want to say I think you guys are doing a wonderful, wonderful job. And I tell everybody about you. So keep on going.
Oh, great. Thank you so much.
It's always so nice to hear.
Any other questions or comments? All right, Barbara.
Okay. Thank each of you for coming and joining us tonight. The donors of goods have been so tolerant and patient as we've been opening up by appointment only. Financial supporters who used to attend events and that we would have been graciously donating without the events. Thank you. Without the volunteers who have worked on site with fewer of their coworkers, though they will come back, and thank you so much for working extra hours to keep Household Goods running. There are many friends of Household Goods in the audience tonight. Thank you for sharing who we are and what we do with your neighbors and your friends and your colleagues. A special thanks to the staff who have worked absolutely tirelessly over the last year to keep us moving, to make changes to improve what we are doing so we continue to help those in need furnish a home. Each of you are true supporters of Household Goods, and I thank you for joining us tonight.
You.
Thank you. Be safe. Take care. And I guess I will adjourn the meeting, that annual meeting for this year, before the 30 minutes is over. Thanks for coming. The meeting is adjourned.
Take care, everyone.
Thank
Be
you.
well.